Sometimes, Allah separates you from the person you deeply love, not because your feelings were meaningless, but because He sees the pain your heart cannot yet see. You may be crying over the distance, while Allah is quietly protecting your faith, your peace, and your future. Listen carefully, because the person you lost may have been the very person Allah removed to save you. 1. Allah reveals what love made you ignore. When you deeply love someone, your heart can become attached not only to who they are, but also to who you hope they will become. You begin to excuse their inconsistency, overlook their silence, and forgive the same behavior again and again because you are afraid that accepting the truth may lead to losing them. You tell yourself they are confused, busy, wounded, or simply need more time, while your own peace slowly disappears. But Allah does not want your heart to remain imprisoned by an illusion. Sometimes He allows the truth to become so clear that you can no longer hide from it. Promises begin to lose their meaning, effort disappears, and the person's actions finally reveal what their words were covering. This truth can feel painful because you were holding on to potential, memories, and hope. You were loving the person they could have been, while Allah was showing you the person they had chosen to be. The separation did not destroy something perfect. It uncovered what your emotions were preventing you from seeing. What feels like heartbreak may actually be Allah opening your eyes before the damage becomes deeper. Sometimes, losing the illusion is the first step toward saving your heart. 2. Allah protects you from a future you cannot see. You only understand how someone makes you feel in the present, but Allah knows exactly where that relationship would lead in the future. You may see beautiful memories, emotional conversations, and the dreams you created together, while Allah sees the pain that could be waiting years ahead. He knows whether that person would protect your heart during difficult seasons, respect your faith, remain honest when temptation appears, and stand beside you when love requires patience, sacrifice, and responsibility. This is why losing someone can feel like rejection to you while being protection from Allah. You may cry because the relationship ended, but Allah may be saving you from a future filled with betrayal, emotional neglect, constant arguments, or a marriage in which you would slowly lose your peace. Your heart is focused on the pain of today, while Allah is protecting the rest of your life. Sometimes you ask Allah to restore a connection because you remember how beautiful it felt in the beginning. But a beautiful beginning does not always guarantee a peaceful ending. Some people know how to make promises when emotions are strong, yet they are not prepared to remain loyal when life becomes difficult. They may love your attention, but not be ready to carry the responsibility of your heart. Allah knows the difference between someone who temporarily desires you and someone who is truly prepared to honor you. He sees the intentions hidden behind kind words, the character concealed by attraction, and the choices that person may make when you are no longer watching. You cannot see these things clearly because love often makes you focus on what you want to believe. That is why a closed door is not always a sign that Allah has ignored your dua. Sometimes, the closed door is the answer. You asked Allah for peace, so He removed the person who constantly created confusion. You asked Him for a righteous future, so He separated you from a connection that would weaken your faith. You asked Him to protect your heart, but when His protection arrived as distance, you misunderstood it as punishment. Do not believe that every person you lose was meant to stay. Some people enter your life to reveal a lesson, expose an unhealed wound, or teach you what you should never accept again. Their departure may hurt deeply, but staying connected to them could have caused far greater pain. Trust that Allah sees beyond the moment breaking your heart. He knows the conversations you never heard, the intentions you never discovered, and the future you were unable to imagine. What you are calling a painful ending may be Allah preventing a lifetime of regret. Sometimes, Allah does not save a relationship because He is trying to save you. 3. Separation teaches you to stop chasing what is not choosing you. One of the most painful truths to accept is that you can deeply love someone who is not willing to choose you with the same sincerity. You may give them your time, loyalty, patience, and understanding, yet still find yourself questioning whether you truly matter to them. Instead of feeling secure, you are constantly waiting for a message, searching for reassurance, and hoping their effort will finally match the love you have been giving. When you are emotionally attached, you may believe that trying harder will save the connection. You tell yourself that if you become more understanding, more patient, less demanding, or more available, the person will eventually recognize your worth. You begin carrying the entire relationship alone while calling your exhaustion loyalty. But a healthy connection cannot survive when only one heart is fighting to keep it alive. Sometimes, Allah allows separation because you have stayed too long in a place where you were repeatedly made to feel unwanted. The distance forces you to confront what your attachment was hiding. You were not only loving someone, you were chasing the possibility that one day they might finally love you correctly. Chasing someone does not always mean physically following them or constantly contacting them. Sometimes, chasing means repeatedly explaining why their actions hurt you, asking for the same basic effort, accepting apologies without change, or remaining available to a person who only returns when they feel lonely. It means giving endless chances while receiving temporary attention in return. You may call it patience, but patience does not mean allowing someone to repeatedly disrespect your heart. Sabr is not remaining trapped in confusion while another person decides whether you are worthy of honesty. True patience is trusting Allah enough to walk away from what is harming you, even when your emotions are still asking you to stay. The person written for you will not require you to beg for basic consideration. They may have imperfections, fears, and difficult seasons, but their intention will be clear. They will communicate, make an effort, take responsibility for their mistakes, and treat your presence as something valuable. You will not have to constantly convince them that the relationship deserves care. Allah may allow someone to stop choosing you so that you can finally begin choosing your dignity. The separation may be teaching you that love should not leave you feeling invisible, replaceable, or emotionally abandoned. It may be reminding you that your worth is not measured by how much pain you are willing to tolerate to keep someone in your life. At first, letting go can feel like losing. You may feel that the other person has moved on while you are left carrying memories, questions, and unfinished dreams. But walking away from someone who continually refuses to choose you is not failure. It is the moment you stop abandoning yourself for the possibility of being loved. Do not continue knocking on a door that only opens when the person needs something from you. Do not keep returning to a connection that gives you temporary happiness, followed by lasting confusion. Every time you chase someone who is comfortable losing you, you move farther away from the peace Allah may be trying to restore within you. Separation can teach you that what is truly written for you will not need to be forced through endless pleading, manipulation, and emotional exhaustion. This does not mean every meaningful relationship will be effortless. Real love requires patience and sacrifice, but the effort must come from both sides. There is a difference between working through difficulties together and fighting alone for someone who has already emotionally left. Perhaps Allah is allowing this person to walk away because your hands must become empty before you can receive something healthier. Perhaps you are being taught to stop confusing attachment with destiny and inconsistency with love. The connection you are desperately trying to save may be the very thing preventing your heart from healing. Let the separation teach you what the relationship could not. You deserve a connection in which you are sincerely chosen, openly respected, and consistently valued. Stop chasing people who only notice your worth when you begin to leave. Sometimes, Allah allows someone to stop choosing you because He wants you to stop losing yourself while trying to be chosen. 4. Allah heals your heart before sending what is better. Sometimes, Allah does not immediately replace the person you lost because your heart first needs time to heal from what the relationship left behind. You may think you are only grieving their absence, but the pain often reaches much deeper. You may also be grieving the future you imagined, the promises you believed, the version of yourself you became around them, and the hope that one day everything would finally become peaceful. A painful connection can leave wounds that are difficult to recognize. You may begin doubting your worth, questioning your judgment, or believing that love will always require anxiety and sacrifice. You may become afraid that the next person will also leave, change, betray your trust, or make you feel as though you are never enough. Even after the relationship ends, the fear it created can remain inside you. This is why healing is not simply forgetting someone. Healing means recovering the parts of yourself that were weakened while you were trying to keep them. It means learning how to trust your feelings again, how to recognize unhealthy behavior, and how to stop blaming yourself for another person's inability to love you correctly. Allah may use this season of separation to show you wounds that existed long before the person entered your life. Perhaps you were afraid of abandonment, so you accepted inconsistency rather than risking being alone. Perhaps you believed love had to be earned, so you kept proving your worth to someone who offered very little in return. Perhaps you were carrying loneliness so deeply that even temporary attention felt like something you could not afford to lose. The relationship did not always create these wounds, but it may have exposed them. That exposure can become a mercy when it leads you toward healing. Allah may be showing you the reason you remained attached to someone who repeatedly disturbed your peace. He may be teaching you that your greatest fear was not truly losing them. It was facing the emptiness you believed would remain after they were gone. But Allah does not want you to build your entire emotional world around another human being. People can support you, love you, and walk beside you, but they cannot become the foundation of your identity. When your happiness depends completely on someone's attention, their silence begins to control your emotions. Their distance makes you feel worthless, and their approval starts determining how you see yourself. Allah may remove that dependence so your heart can return to Him. This does not mean you should stop desiring companionship. Wanting love, marriage, and emotional connection is natural. But Allah may be teaching you to desire these things without allowing them to become greater than your trust in Him. He wants you to enter love from a place of emotional strength, not desperation. During healing, you may feel as though nothing is changing. You may still remember the person. Certain places, songs, conversations, or quiet moments may bring the pain back without warning. Some days you will feel strong, and on other days you may question whether you have made any progress at all. But healing is rarely a straight path. Progress can look like remembering without contacting them. It can look like missing them without returning to what harmed you. It can look like finally understanding that love alone was not enough to make the relationship healthy. It can look like choosing peace even while part of your heart still wishes the story had ended differently. Allah may be rebuilding you quietly during this period. He may be teaching you to enjoy your own company, strengthen your relationship with prayer, return to goals you abandoned, and remember the person you were before the relationship consumed your attention. Slowly, your life begins to feel larger than the pain. You begin to understand that being alone is not the same as being abandoned. You begin to see that peace is more valuable than temporary affection. You begin to recognize that your worth existed before the person noticed you and continues to exist after they leave. This transformation prepares you for something healthier. If Allah brought the right person into your life while you were still emotionally tied to the wrong one, you might not recognize healthy love. You could mistake peace for boredom because you became accustomed to emotional chaos. You might distrust consistency because inconsistency had trained you to expect disappointment. You could punish a sincere person for wounds they did not create. That is why healing matters before a new beginning. Allah may be removing the fear that causes you to overthink every silence. He may be healing the insecurity that makes you compare yourself with everyone around you. He may be strengthening the boundaries you once abandoned because you were afraid of losing someone. He may be teaching you that saying no does not make you difficult, and that asking for respect does not make you demanding. The right person should not be responsible for repairing every wound the wrong person left behind. A loving spouse can support your healing, but they should not be forced to constantly prove that they are not the person who hurt you. Allah may be preparing you to enter the next relationship with wisdom instead of suspicion, openness instead of desperation, and hope instead of fear. Healing also changes what you are attracted to. Before, you may have been drawn toward intensity, mystery, and emotional unpredictability. You may have mistaken nervousness for excitement and confusion for deep connection. But after healing, you begin wanting clarity, responsibility, emotional safety, and sincere intention. You stop being impressed by beautiful words without consistent action. You stop romanticizing people who make you question where you stand. You stop seeing emotional suffering as proof that a connection must be meaningful. What once attracted you may no longer impress you because Allah has raised your understanding. This is one of the greatest signs of healing. You no longer desire the same things that once broke you. You may still wish the person well, but you no longer wish to return. You may remember the beautiful moments, but you no longer use them to excuse the painful ones. You finally understand that forgiveness does not always require reconnection, and that moving forward does not mean the past was meaningless. It means the lesson has completed its purpose. Perhaps Allah is not making you wait because He has forgotten you. Perhaps He is making you stronger, wiser, and emotionally ready for the love you have been praying for. He may be preparing you to recognize someone who brings peace instead of uncertainty and commitment instead of temporary attention. Do not rush the healing process simply because you feel lonely. Loneliness can tempt you to return to familiar pain or accept a new connection before your heart is ready. But what Allah is preparing for you should not be received by a version of you that still believes suffering is the price of love. Let this season transform you. Allow Allah to restore the dignity you compromised, the confidence you lost, and the peace you kept sacrificing. Let Him teach you that your heart can survive what it once believed would destroy it. The separation may have broken your expectations, but healing will rebuild your vision. It will show you that the love meant for you should not require you to beg, shrink, or disappear. Sometimes Allah heals your heart before sending what is better, because He does not only want to change the person beside you, He wants to change the part of you that once accepted less than you deserved. 5. The right person will not require you to lose yourself. The right person will not ask you to destroy your peace in order to prove your love. They will not make you feel that you must become smaller, quieter, more convenient, or less honest just to keep them in your life. Real love may require patience, compromise, and sacrifice, but it should never require you to abandon your identity, your dignity, or your relationship with Allah. Many people lose themselves slowly inside relationships without realizing it. It does not always happen through one dramatic moment. Sometimes it begins with small changes. You stop expressing your feelings because the other person calls you difficult. You stop asking important questions because you are afraid they will become distant. You accept broken promises because you do not want to appear demanding. You ignore your own needs because keeping the connection feels more important than protecting your heart. Over time, you begin shaping your entire personality around what makes the other person stay. You become careful with every word, every emotion, and every expectation. Instead of feeling safe, you constantly monitor their mood. You wonder whether a simple disagreement will make them leave. You start believing that love means staying silent about anything that could create discomfort. But love that requires your silence is not emotional safety, it is fear. Allah did not create you to spend your life begging another person for permission to be yourself. He did not give you a heart, a voice, and values so that you could surrender them to someone who only loves you when you are easy to control. The person written for you should not feel threatened by your honesty, your growth, your boundaries, or your connection with Allah. They should want to understand you, not reshape you into someone who never challenges them. The right person may not agree with you on everything. No healthy relationship is free from differences. But disagreement should not become humiliation, manipulation, punishment, or emotional abandonment. A sincere person can listen even when the conversation is difficult. They can communicate without making you feel worthless. They can correct you without insulting you and express their needs without making you afraid. There is a difference between a relationship that helps you grow and one that slowly erases you. Growth may challenge your habits, improve your character, and teach you to become more patient. Erasure makes you question your worth, silence your needs, and lose confidence in your own judgment. Growth brings you closer to Allah and to the best version of yourself. Erasure makes you feel spiritually weak, emotionally exhausted, and disconnected from who you once were. If a relationship repeatedly takes you away from prayer, peace, honesty, family, or self-respect, you must ask yourself what you are truly trying to preserve. Sometimes you are not protecting love. You are protecting attachment. You are holding on because you fear the pain of losing someone, even though keeping them has already caused you to lose parts of yourself. The right person will not compete with your faith. They will not make you feel guilty for choosing what is halal. They will not pressure you to cross boundaries, hide the connection, or compromise your values in order to prove your feelings. Someone who truly cares about your future will also care about the state of your soul. They will understand that love is not only about how strongly two people feel, it is also about where those feelings are leading them. A connection can feel intense and still be harmful. You can miss someone and still know they are not good for your life. You can love a person and still recognize that staying with them requires too much of your peace. Feelings are real, but feelings alone are not always guidance. This is why Allah may separate you from someone you deeply love. He may know that, with time, you would have become unrecognizable to yourself. He may see that you would keep abandoning your standards, forgiving without change, and accepting behavior you once promised yourself you would never tolerate. You may think the separation took love away from you, while Allah may be returning you to yourself. At first, you may not recognize this mercy. You may only feel the emptiness of their absence. You may remember the conversations, plans, and moments that made you believe they were your future. But as the distance grows, you may begin noticing how much emotional energy the relationship consumed. You sleep more peacefully. You no longer fear every notification. You stop wondering when their behavior will change again. You begin reconnecting with people you neglected, goals you abandoned, and parts of your personality that had disappeared. That is when you realize the relationship was not only asking for your love, it was demanding your entire emotional identity. The right person will allow you to remain a complete human being. You will still have your dreams, friendships, responsibilities, and personal growth. They will not expect your whole world to revolve around them. They will understand that a healthy marriage is built by two people who support one another, not by one person disappearing into the needs of the other. You should be able to grow without making them insecure. You should be able to succeed without being made to feel guilty. You should be able to express pain without being accused of creating problems. You should be able to set boundaries without constantly fearing that love will be withdrawn. A person who loves you sincerely will not only enjoy your kindness, they will respect the limits that protect your kindness from being exploited. This does not mean the right person will never hurt you. Every human being makes mistakes. There may be misunderstandings, difficult conversations, moments of frustration, and seasons when love requires more patience. The difference is that a sincere person takes responsibility. They do not keep repeating the same wound while expecting endless forgiveness. They do not use your love as protection from consequences. They listen, reflect, apologize, and make an effort to change. Words matter, but patterns reveal character. Someone may say they love you while repeatedly making you feel invisible. They may promise a future while refusing to show commitment in the present. They may apologize beautifully, but return to the same behavior as soon as they feel secure again. The right person will understand that love must be proven through consistency, not only emotion. You should not have to become a detective inside your own relationship. You should not have to analyze every silence, search for hidden meanings, or constantly question whether you are still wanted. Healthy love gives clarity. It does not leave you trapped between affection and uncertainty. When someone is sincere, you may not know every detail of the future, but you will understand their intention. Their actions will not force you to repeatedly guess where you stand. Allah may remove someone because He knows that your heart deserves more than temporary reassurance. He may be saving you for a connection in which loyalty does not have to be begged for, honesty does not have to be forced, and respect does not disappear whenever conflict arises. The person written for you should not only love you when you are happy, agreeable, and easy to understand. They should know how to remain gentle when you are struggling. They should not use your vulnerable moments against you later. They should not shame you for emotions you trusted them enough to reveal. Emotional safety means being able to speak honestly without fearing that everything you say will become a weapon. The right person will protect your weaknesses, not expose them. They will not use private information to control you, embarrass you, or win arguments. They will understand that trust is an amana, a responsibility that should be treated with care. You also will not need to pretend to be perfect for them. You will be able to admit mistakes, continue growing, and show your real personality without fearing that one imperfect moment will erase your value. A mature person will not expect perfection, but they will expect honesty, effort, and accountability. This kind of love feels different because it does not constantly activate fear. It creates space for peace. You may have become so familiar with emotional chaos that peace initially feels unfamiliar. When you are used to chasing, consistency can seem less exciting. When you are accustomed to confusion, clear intentions can feel almost too simple. When you have spent years trying to earn love, receiving it with respect can feel difficult to trust. But do not confuse peace with a lack of passion. Sometimes, peace is what love feels like when it is no longer mixed with fear. The right person will not make you question whether you are too much for needing respect. They will not label you insecure whenever their behavior is unclear. They will not make you apologize for asking for honesty. They will help create the security that allows both hearts to grow, and you must also prepare yourself to offer that same safety. The right relationship is not only about finding someone who treats you well, it is also about becoming someone capable of treating another heart with mercy, patience, and responsibility. Healing teaches you to stop bringing old wounds into new connections. It teaches you to communicate instead of punish, ask instead of assume, and trust without becoming blind. It helps you understand that your future spouse should not carry the consequences of what someone else did to you. Allah may be preparing both hearts separately before allowing them to meet. Perhaps He is teaching you boundaries while teaching them responsibility. Perhaps He is healing your fear while strengthening their character. Perhaps He is removing your attachment to chaos while teaching them how to offer consistency. You may not see this preparation, but Allah does not waste the seasons that feel empty. Do not assume that waiting means nothing is happening. The absence of a relationship can still be a season of deep preparation. Allah may be helping you recognize the difference between attraction and compatibility, attention and intention, chemistry and character. Attraction can begin a connection, but character determines whether it can survive. The person meant for your future should possess qualities that remain when emotions are tested. Honesty when lying would be easier, loyalty when temptation appears, patience when life becomes difficult, and mercy when you are not at your best. These qualities matter more than charm. Do not be so impressed by someone's ability to make you feel special that you ignore their inability to make you feel safe. Do not choose a person only because they speak beautifully about love. Watch how they behave when they are angry, disappointed, stressed, or no longer trying to impress you. True character often appears when a person does not get what they want. If someone punishes you with silence, threatens to leave during every disagreement, or makes your boundaries seem unreasonable, do not ignore those signs because the good moments feel intense. Love should not require you to accept emotional instability as normal. The right person will understand that your heart is not a place for games. They may enter your life quietly, without the dramatic intensity you once associated with destiny. But their presence will bring something deeper, steadiness. Their words and actions will begin to align. You will not feel pressured to perform for affection. You will feel respected, even in moments of disagreement. They will not save you, because only Allah can be the foundation of your heart. But they will walk beside you with sincerity. Remember that no human relationship can give you complete security. People are imperfect, circumstances change, and every marriage experiences tests. Your deepest trust must remain with Allah, but the person beside you should support that trust, not constantly weaken it. They should remind you of your worth when you forget it, encourage your growth when you feel tired, and help you face life without making themselves the center of your entire existence. You will still be yourself beside them, but you will also become better. That is one of the clearest differences between the wrong person and the right one. The wrong person makes you feel that love requires your disappearance. The right person makes space for your growth. So if Allah has removed someone who required you to abandon yourself, do not only mourn the relationship, recognize what has been returned to you: your voice, your peace, your values, your dreams, and your dignity may be coming back. You are not losing your only chance at love. You are learning what love should never cost. The person written for you will not ask you to betray your heart in order to keep theirs. They will not make you choose between being loved and being respected. They will not require you to become someone else so that they can remain comfortable. They will see your heart as a trust, not an opportunity for control. And when Allah brings the right person, you may finally understand why the wrong connection had to end. You will see that love was never meant to feel like constant fear. You will discover that being chosen should not require endless chasing, and that commitment should not demand the loss of your identity. Sometimes, Allah separates you from someone you deeply love because He knows that the connection is slowly teaching you to abandon yourself. And sometimes He allows your heart to break so that one day it can receive a love in which you do not have to break yourself to stay. So, if Allah has separated you from someone you deeply loved, do not believe that your story ended when they walked away. Perhaps Allah heard what you never heard, saw what you could not see, and knew the future your heart was too attached to imagine. The distance may feel painful today, but one day you may understand that it protected your faith, restored your dignity, and saved you from a lifetime of confusion. Not every closed door is rejection. Sometimes it is Allah refusing to let your heart remain where it would slowly lose its peace. Let the separation teach you, heal you, and return you to the person you were before love made you forget your worth. Do not chase what Allah is helping you release, and do not return to a connection that repeatedly required you to abandon yourself. What is truly written for you will not demand the destruction of your faith, your peace, or your identity. It will arrive with sincerity, responsibility, and a love that allows you to grow closer to Allah while remaining true to yourself. Trust the mercy hidden inside the ending. The person you lost may not have been your final destination. They may have been the lesson that prepared you for it. And perhaps one day, when Allah brings what is better, you will look back at this heartbreak and quietly say, Ya Allah, now I understand why you did not let them stay.